Hello guys, and welcome to a new GTK window tutorial. Today we are going to learn new things, new functions, but before we proceed, let me mark those three functions as done. And the next things which we are going to talk about are GTK window set keep above and GTK window set keep below. What this means, let's go back to the GTK window reference manual and let me search for those two functions. Both of them are right here. It says it's a function which returns void and takes two parameters. The first is the window and the second one is a setting which says whether to keep the window above other windows. So X to keep the window above so that it stays on the top. Note that you should not assume the window is definitely above afterward, because other entities, for example user window manager, could not keep it above. So just be sure that you take care about this by checking window state event. We are going to talk about this at some point. Okay, so that being said, we are going to call this function which returns void. I'm going to pass it right here right now, and it doesn't say something about its default state, but I think you already know it's set to false. So GTK window, it is its first argument which we need to provide, and the second one I'm going to pass false. Let me compile it and run it. And now if I'm clicking here, you see no difference. Which one is above is that one where you click on it. If you turn it to false, sorry guys, I meant to true. I was thinking something else. If you turn it to true, that at this point you see I'm playing with the other window which is under our GTK window. The same story goes with this one as well. You see, no matter which window I am clicking, our main GTK window stay above, and this is basically what this GTK window set keep above does once that you set it to true. I'm going to set it back to false now, because we need another function to test it, and the next function it's called GTK window set keep below, which probably already know what does. It is also a function which does nothing, void, and takes the same two parameters and says ask to keep the window below, so that it stays in a button. And of course the same story, you should not assume the window is definitely below. For this we are going to call it, let me make a copy of this one and replace this with keep below. I'm going to set it to true, and as you can see our window is gone, and this happens because our window stays as the first window. You see, it is right here. This means no matter which window you are opening, if you click on your window right here, it doesn't reveal, only if you put it back to, or if you set it back to false. This is basically what this function does. So I'm going to use false again, like in the first one, just to have it back. And now as you can see our application works normally as before. So this is the thing which does these two functions. The first one, put your window as being the main window which stays always on the top above other windows, possible windows which you are running from your desktop or your distribution, whatever. And the next one does the opposite, which means it's keeping your window as below as possible to be at a very last window. Okay, that being said, let us move to the next function. And next function is interesting. GTK window set deletable. Yes, this is something like, you remember the GTK window set resizable. Let me show you something. Let me call a little bit this function again, and I'm going to replace this one right here. And as you can see, I set it to false. And as you already noticed, when you set this function to false, basically you lose the middle button right here, and also the context menu, which you get with Alt and the middle button, the scroll button. You see the resize is gone. The same thing goes in a different way with GTK window set deletable. Let me search this function, see where is it. Let me go from up back to down. Nope. We're going to find it in a moment. Right here. It is the get deletable, and we need a set as well. Set. Did I miss it? Let me go back. Get deletable, and right here, set. It is a function which does void, nothing, takes the same two parameters like in other cases from resize, for example. By default, Windows have a close button in the window frame. Yes, which means when you compile and run your program, you get your close button right here. So basically this is what it's talking about. Some window managers allow GTK to disable this button. If you set the deliverable parameter to false using this function, GTK will do its best to convince the window manager not to show the close button. Depending on the system, this function may not have any effect when calling on a window that is already visible. So you should call it before calling GTK widget show. Just to be clear, if you want this function to work 100%, then call it just before you call GTK widget show. On Windows, this function always works. So this is basically not. This is basically a let's say operating system stuff, because as you can see here on Windows works. So it's in it is something like an implementation thing. Okay, now let me copy and call this function right here, and now I'm going to let it set to false. And as you can see, now we have only one button, and that's all. More we don't have. So basically this is everything you have right now. It is a function which you can only send it to your test bar. More of this you cannot get. Okay, that being said, the other thing which is called GTK, the other function which is called GTK get deletable. This means you find information about this function if it was set to true or false, and it was somewhere down here. Really? Set deletable, get deletable, right here. You see, it's a function which it's a Boolean function, which means returns true or false, takes only one parameter, and returns wherever the window has been set to have a close button via GTK window set deletable. So basically you will doing something like this. If GTK window get deletable is set to true, window, then set it to false, which basically print I am here. Now if I'm compile it and run it the way it is, nothing happens because we already set it to false, as you already noticed right here. So we are not there. You see, we are not there, but we can be there if we set this one back to true. Now we are here and it will be set to false. Yes, you see, basically something like this you can use, or if you want to change these things in another manner, you can just make some modification to the callback function where you can check if it's set to true or false, base it on the button which you are clicking. We don't need those things anymore. So if GTK is window, then if GTK window get delivered is set to true, then we are going to set it to false. Nothing special, which means it is set to true or whatever. If you don't want to call it, which is the same story, just comment it, and once that you compile and run it, as you can see, we have the close button right here. Once that you click it, bam, it's gone. You see, of course it's not the right way, but you see it's working. The close button disappeared. Okay, next function which we are going to talk now, it is about the window close. What this function does, let us check it, let us find it first. Okay, where's the window close? Right here it says request the window that the window is closed. So similar to what happens when a window manager close button is clicked. This function can be used with close buttons in custom title bar. So let us call this function. How we'll do it? Well, we'll do it like this. We are going to call it right here inside. Just as simple. GTK window. We don't need to actually cast it because we passed the GTK window right here. So window, and let us give a message for the user: gprint the window is closing, or whatever. And now let me remove these things right here because we don't need them. I'm going to compile it and run it. And now when I click the button, should close the window, and it says the window is closing and the window is done. The window is gone, it's closed. So basically this is what this function GTK window close does. If you have more windows and you decide to close one of them, then this is your function. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.